Alright, so what we did last time is when I press play and I hit spacebar, my character jumps, and if I hold down spacebar or I keep clicking it, he keeps going off into infinity. So let's take a look at a way of checking if our character is grounded. So let's go into our scripts folder, and I'm actually just going to do this with all within the player controller. And I want to create a couple new functions here. So let's delete this for a second. And I want to make a public, or actually let's just make a private variable. So we're going to do private bool. Now what bool stands for is Boolean. And just like in math, it's either a 0 or 1, or a true or a false. And you'll get, in a second, you're going to see what how this correlates. I like to use Booleans to check if my, it's as a stop check gap for things that are happening. So for example, with my private bool here, I can check is grounded. And and right off the bat, I'm going to set that to true because my character essentially is going to start in the is grounded in the very beginning of the game. Now, what's really neat is I actually have a collision object on my character here. Remember this mesh collider? Come on, there we go. Remember this mesh collider? And I could check if this mesh collider is colliding with anything. So on collision enter, on collision exit, right? So let's go ahead and try that and see what happens. So I'm going to, sorry, I'm coding a couple different videos, collapse these so we can take a look at that. And on here, I'm going to write void on collision enter. That one looks good. And then void on collision, and it knows my screwed up way of typing exit, and it fixed it for me. Thank you, Unity. So what I want to do is, as I approach or I touch a collision object, I want to check if I am grounded. Well, one way of doing this is just to grab this variable, because I have to have faith that on collision enter will check if my collision is grounded. So I'm just going to first off say, you know what, is grounded equals true. And what that means is I am touching the ground. I entered the ground. If I'm exiting the ground, that means I hit spacebar. I'm going to change this to false. So let's change that to false. So we are no longer grounded. Freaking awesome. And I'll just copy this. We are grounded. You're probably noticing too that my voice has gotten better since the last few videos. I'm feeling 1,000 times better and more energetic. All right, so how do we check that? Well, let's go ahead and do that. So, well, I think a good way to find out right away is to just do a debug.log and check is grounded. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go debug.log, and I'm going to throw in is grounded, probably with a statement like, come on, get rid of that log error, debug.log. There we go. And, geez, I cannot type though. All right, so I'm going to check in C col enter, and let's do this and paste that is grounded variable. And then I'm going to copy this. So I'll just click on line 35, and then I'm going to click on line 44 to insert that there. And then I'm going to type exit here. And let's check if we are there. So I'm going to save this, and let's see what happens. So when I press play here, so Control Shift C or go to Windows, General, and then open up your console. When I press play, let's see what happens. So my character's in the air, hits the ground. You can see in collision enter equals true. So right now it's true. When I hit spacebar, I'm in the air. It has exit false. Okay, well I want to disable this upward movement, or I want to disable my spacebar when this happens, or my ability to jump. All right, let's go back into our code. Hopefully I'm selecting the right one. Yeah, that one looks good. So let's expand our void update here. And notice that we have the input Geeko down space. All right, we already know that. That's what's adding our jump. So this makes us jump. So how do we get it to take into account this is grounded variable? Well, I'm going to go ahead and do the and symbol here. And what this says is if our spacebar is pressed and we happen to be on the ground, we can jump. All right, let's try that and see if that works. So I'm going to press play here. Notice I can't jump again. Great. All right, so in the next video, what we'll do is we'll take a look at getting our character to move around with the arrow keys.